Hello and welcome to Elixir Art Studio. My name is Tiffany and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to paint this adorable Valentine's gnome today. So some of you have purchased a kit from me, which includes the canvas, the paints, and then on your kit that you purchased from me, you're going to have the gnome already drawn out for you and a piece of vinyl covering that so you don't get the background onto the gnome and lose that stencil that I did for you. If you are watching this on YouTube, I will link a picture of a gnome that you can print out and you can trace onto your canvas so it's a little bit easier. But for today's purpose, those of you who don't want to do either of those options, I'm going to show you how to paint this step by step from start to finish without pre-drawing anything on top of it, okay? And if you did purchase a kit or you are doing a stencil, you're more than happy to move forward the video and bypass where I'm teaching you how to pick and choose where you want your items to be. For the sample gnome, I have selected the colors pink and blue. For today's purpose, I'm doing two different main colors, and there is only one shade color. So if you purchased a kit from me, you're gonna probably have two shade colors or maybe one, but that's probably not gonna happen very often. I am choosing today the main colors to be turquoise and purple, just because I wanted to show you guys a little different color combination so it's easier. In your kit that you purchased from me, you're going to have a shade color of each of your main colors, okay? Your main colors are going to be the lighter colors. Your shade colors are going to be the darker colors. So for instance, this pink was paired up with a red. The blue is going to be paired up with a navy blue. And that's what it's going to look like in your kit or if you're at home doing it. So pick your main two colors, make sure they're light and bright, and then pick two shade colors. This purple isn't very light, so I'm going to go with the navy blue to offset that and give it some dimension. And then this turquoise, I'm also going to use the same navy blue, so that's why I only have three colors on my palette. Yeah, and then we're obviously going to use some white. So, with that being said, the only other materials that you're going to need are a water cup, some paper towel, or a paint rag, and then these brushes. We're going to be using two foam brushes. They're about 1 inch each, and please don't get them wet until you're all done. And then the other three brushes we're going to be using is a size 10 round brush, size 6 round brush, and this one's a pencil liner, but you can, not a pencil liner, sorry. This is just a liner, but you can use any really small round brush. This is a size 0 liner, so it's called a script liner, not pencil liner. I had tile on my brain, sorry. So this is all we're going to need to get painting, and let's get started. Okay, so I moved the camera a little bit closer so that way you can see a little bit better of that and a lot less of me. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First, we're going to use our foam brushes. Pick one for one color, one for another color. Let's start on the lighter of the two. So pick whatever light is lighter. In my instance, the turquoise is going to be lighter than the purple, so that's what I'm going to start with. And I'm going to choose to put this on my right side. So what you're going to do is, if you have the kit from me and you have the vinyl covering it, make sure you hold on the vinyl so it doesn't fall off or whatever if it's not on there completely secure. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start from the corner and bring it into the middle, and then the outside and bring it into the middle, and we're just going to do back and forth motions, and then the top into the middle. Just keep doing back and forth motions, and then you can even go down to the bottom and do it like that. Okay. up towards the top, I'm going to dip my brush in. Again, please do not get these wet. Not until we're all done and you can clean up. Dip into the white a little bit and go up at the top with the white, just to make it a little bit lighter. And don't forget to get your sides, your top, your bottom, your sides, and all of that. If you want to finish beach, this part is not totally necessary, but the majority prefer a finished side. So we're gonna do that. The bottom, you can just go back and forth, because this is where the gnome's gonna be sitting on. And then when you have a good assortment on there of the light color and the white, you can dip that brush into your shade color. Mine is navy blue. And go at the bottom to start. And then slowly work your way up. And then again, because where the gnome's sitting is going to be the darkest, you're going to want to make sure that gets down there at the bottom. Okay. If you think it's a little too dark for your liking, dip back into that light color and put it right up there again. It's okay if some of the dark gets up at the top, because it just gives you that much more variation. Now, I don't recommend this if you are on a surface that you don't want paint, but I'm just going to go ahead and paint the bottom and sit it back down because obviously it's filled with paint anyways. So we're going to take a look at that. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this foam brush aside, and I'm going to work with my fresh foam brush, and I'm going to do the same thing with the purple or your other color that you have chosen. So corner, all the way to the middle, and down. And get some color down there. I'm going to go ahead and do the sides. And the top. All right. And now I want this portion to be lighter, so I'm going to dip into the white, and I'm going to just come on in here. You want to get your whole background like this. And again, you don't really need to fill in the middle completely because there's going to be a gnome sitting there. So I'm not really going to worry about that little spot. I'm just going to do that. And then to get a section that's darker, I'm dipping into my navy blue, which is the shade darker for this side. And I am just going to continue the process like we did on the other side. Don't forget to go horizontally when you get towards the bottom. And again, it's okay if you get some on the top that are darker. Just going to give it a little bit more creativeness. Okay, so you see how the purple is running into the turquoise? I want some of that turquoise to run over into the purple now. So I'm going to grab my turquoise brush, my other color brush. I'm going to get just a little bit on there, and I'm just going to go along the top. And just kind of fill it in a little bit. Go back and forth because your brush is going to pick up some of that purple. And there we go. That's the first step of the back. The next step of the back is to add some more dimension, some more creativity. So I'm going to pick up my turquoise brush. I'm going to dip it into the turquoise, and I'm just going to make some random thick lines. Just wherever my heart is really leading me. Well, I guess I should say my hand. And I'm just going to do a couple down there at the bottom. Yeah, I like that. And then I'm going to dip into my shaded color. Same way. You don't need a whole bunch on your brush for this step. Just a little bit goes a long way because we're only giving a little bit dimension here, okay? This is just a little bit extra in your painting. And then put that brush aside, and you can do the same thing with your other colors. A bit of purple for me. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get some more blue on there. Alright, so I'm liking how that looks for now. And I think on mine, I don't like these big blue ones up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back out my turquoise brush, and I'm just going to go over top of them. Try to make it blend in with the background. Good. And then I'm going to just dip in with that turquoise again and put some big chunks on there. Maybe one more small purple one. There. I like that a lot more. So the next step for the background, we're almost done with the background. See, it doesn't take very long to get there. We're going to add some paint splatter. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your big round brush or your medium round brush, that's fine. And you're going to dip into one of the paint colors, okay? Dip it into the water. And then you're going to take it and you're going to hold the one with the paint still, and then a paintbrush, grab a paintbrush that doesn't have anything on it, and you're going to smack the still paintbrush. This does happen to be a little bit easier if your canvas is laying down, but it's still doable with it vertical if you have it on an easel. Oh, look at those big globs. I really like that. That's fun. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do for the blue, no, the turquoise, and then I'm just going to dip right into the purple, get some water on there, and I'm going to go ahead and do it over with the purple. Okay. And then I'm just going to go ahead and dip right into that navy blue of mine. Perfect. I like it. Okay. And I'm just going to brush this off down here at the bottom. And then wash the brush off. Okay. Easy enough. The background is done. Step 1 complete. Alright, if you are happy with your background, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. The next step is to draw the gnome for me. If you purchased a kit or you downloaded the image and pre-drew it, wonderful, you can move ahead in the video. I will try to link or put the time slot in there where I'm moving on to painting the gnome after we get ready to, after we are drawing the gnome, for those of you who have done that. But if you haven't and we need to get the gnome on here, we are going to get started on that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our small round brush. This is a number 6, and we are going to be working with our white. So this is what our sample looks like. first we are going to be drawing the heart. So the heart, kind of the indent on the heart is just under the middle of the canvas. So you're going to find that spot and draw a little dot. And then from there, you're going to draw the heart. So it can be as big or small as you want. And if you're picking up paint from your background, that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. Now, I do want to let you know that I'm drawing this from the side, or I'm painting this from the side. So my measurements might be a little uneven. So sorry. Hopefully you guys have a straight on view and it can be a little bit better for you. Okay, the next step after we get the heart in there, we're going to draw the little paws. I know they're hands, but they look like little cute paws. So we're just going to draw 2 little paws. 1, 2, perfect. And then what I want to do is I want to bump up here about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And I want to draw the nose. So you can have a completely circle nose, or you can have one that has like the nostril little bits there. I'm going to start with a circle nose. And then I'm going to do 2 little bump outs for the little bit right there. And I think that nose is a little bit small. So I think I'm actually going to make it a little bit larger there. And then just come out and do 2 little bump outs here and here. Perfect, I like that a lot better. The next step, what we're going to do is we are going to figure out where we want the feet. So we're gonna come down from where like the hand meets the heart, and we're gonna do 2 half circles down here. 1 on that side, hand meets the heart over here, and let's do that one on that side. Perfect. Cute, I like it. And then we can leave his little bottom right there, so they kind of meet together. Okay. And then the beard is ideally going to be coming around, well, let's draw 2 straight lines here and do a little candy cane circle shape at the bottom there. So straight down, make the hand meet the line, and then just do a little thing. And this is for these little parts of his coat. Those are going to be painted a very dark shade. Okay. And then the arms themselves, they come out almost straight at a very, very small angle, or you can make them straight about 2 to 3 inches, like 2 inches. Try to keep it at 2.5. And then at an angle, you're going to try to angle back up, come up there, perfect. And then angle back up from the nose, kind of like, see how it's an imaginary line. Angle from the nose, start at the middle of the heart, and meet the elbow. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And then for the bottom of him, you got to start at probably the middle of his arm sleeve and go to almost the middle of the foot. And you can do a little bit of a curve in there. So it's not going to be a straight line. There's going to be a little curve. Okay, there's 1 and 2. Perfect, I'm happy with it. And then we are going to do his little mustache part. So that is going to be from like the inside part of the nostril and then the bottom of the nose. So you got to kind of imagine there's going to be a mustache there, okay? And then kind of floof it out. Okay, and then we're going to come down about where you started the arms at, come up a couple inches, and that's where his beard is going to be. So you can draw like some straight lines. And kind of whisk them out a bit. For his little arms, we're going to make some straight. You don't want it to go all the way to his outer arm, but stop maybe a 1/2 inch. There we go. There we go. Okay. And these areas are also where we're going to make some whiskey lines. Whoa. Or I should say wispy, not whiskey. Unless you're drinking whiskey, then it might be fun. Okay, so to continue with the beard, you can make it as big or as small as you want. I'm just going to kind of fall, and these are going to be wispy the entire way down. And I'm going to make it just go right past his butt, and it's kind of starting at the end of his sleeve. Okay? There we go. For the hat, you're just going to go from the top of the nose, okay? And it's going to kind of like go on both parts of the nose, all the parts of the nose, and then just kind of fall onto the top of those whiskers, of those whispers, of the whisker, you know what I mean, on top of the beard. So we're going to just make it fall like that. It's okay if it's not a straight line because it's a hat and it's kind of like falling on his face. And then from there, do a little bump out on both sides. Bump it out. Okay. Decide where you want your hat to end. So I'm going to try to go straight up from the nose. Make a dot because that's where it's going to end at the top. And I'm going to have it go to the right. So I'm going to go from that dot, and I'm just going to do kind of a wavy line down to that little bump out that we did. And then for the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm actually going to leave about 1 inch of a space, and then I'm going to go to that bump out line. For the little tail end of that hat, well, all we're going to do is we're going to come all the way over to the right, and then you got to go about 1 inch where it starts again. Okay? And there we have it. There's our gnome. All done. I'm just kidding. The next step is to paint it. So if you had our kit, now is time where you get to pick back up. All right, so now we get to start painting the gnome. So this is a pretty exciting part. What we are going to start with is we are going to start with the heart. So you get to choose your color that you want to do for the heart itself. For me, I'm going to choose purple. And we're going to use our large round brush for this. And so I'm just going to start by dipping straight into the purple and filling it completely in. Now, because I just got done painting this heart, the outline, I'm going to be picking up a lot of white when I'm doing this, but don't let that bother you or stop you from doing yours, okay? So mine's just going to have a couple different shades to it, which I'm 100% okay with. Okay. And also, if you bought the kit from me, I had drawn yours in with watercolor pencil, so that way you didn't get the graphite spillage that you would have if I would have used a pencil. So that watercolor pencil, the colors from that, they're just going to pick up with your paint, but you're not going to really be able to see them very much. Okay, so we just want to get a good base of everything right now. So there is the heart, okay? And while we are using our purple, I'm going to use the purple. Let me get my sample out again. So for the hat, I chose a color for the outside and a color for the inside, kind of. And then same with the sleeves and stuff like that. So while we are playing with the purple, I'm just gonna go and put a base color down at these locations. So I'm gonna use the purple right into the middle of the hat. And so that's gonna go all the way from the top of the hat. And I'm just gonna do small strokes back and forth. And then the closer you get down low to the gnome's nose, get to his nose, the longer these strokes are gonna get, okay? And again, if you're picking up from your background or from your outline that you drew, that's okay, because this is just a very colorful painting and it's gonna look great either way. And then when you get to this little tail part of his hat, you still go ahead and go to the middle. They're just gonna be smaller little strokes in there, okay? So it's still gonna be cute regardless. Okay. And then for his little arms, we're just gonna go ahead and add some strokes right there for his arms. And you can just draw right over top of that top line, or paint right over top of that top line, and then stroke down, okay? Same on the other arm. Let's get some of that in there. Okay. And then for the boots in the back, you can go ahead and just hold off on that for now. Let's go ahead and get some, color in here for the rest of the stuff first. So go ahead and wash off that brush. And then I'm gonna dip into my teal. You can dip into your other color, and you can do the outsides of your hat. So again, go all the way down to cover that stencil that we did, or the outline. I picked up a big glob there, but that's okay. And then you can just kind of like whisk it into the middle. You don't have to make very bold lines into the middle. You can just whisk it. Do this on the other side. You kind of want to go at a curve because that's the way that the hat is going. One second. So I just stepped back to take a look at it, and I see that he is so crooked because I'm crooked when I'm drawing this. So I'm going to fix it. So just bear with me for like 2 seconds, okay? So in order to fix it, if you do it, it's really easy because we're just working with paint. So just, all we're gonna have to do is come on down and just redraw the lines, just redo the outline. So that fixes his hat right there, or her hat, however you want to say it. And then the arms and the body is all out of proportion. So I'm just gonna grab my small brush again. And I love that you guys can see me doing this in real time because, or non-edited, because it just shows that it happens. Alright, so I'm gonna just make his butt go like that. I'm going to move his arm, his hand like that. just gonna keep his beard looking like that. And now I can redo this. I want to get that purple out of there so I don't mess up his arm again. Let me see if that looks a little bit better for me. I'm not mad about that. Okay. Now that I fixed that, I'm so sorry. You guys should have told me. Just kidding. Anyways, now that that's fixed, we're gonna continue. Okay. So we're just gonna go and we'll do little whisks in and keep following the outline. Do little whisks up. Up and down. Okay. I need to clear this off and redo his little arm right there before I continue. Some purple. This. And then go down. Okay. And then we're going to take our large round one, and we're going to fill in his beard and mustache. Well, let's just do his beard for now. So we're going to do the beard, and try to do some whisks along the entire way, okay? Just keep it whiskey. If you don't know what I mean by whiskey, it's you put it down and you kind of flick it up, okay? Flick it up. So down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. All right. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, and again, this is not going to be perfect. You're going to pick up colors, which I actually like. I like the other colors mixed in with his beard. And then you come down here and you just do the same thing. So we got that part done, and then we can do his mustache. Just try not to lose where his mustache was. His mustache and his little mouth right there. So there we have his beard, and that's all set into place. And then you can rinse that back off. If you kind of went over your border for your heart, you can just go ahead and dip into that color again that you used and just kind of reapply that. There. All right. So we are going to go ahead and do the same color that you used for this part of the hat on the middle part of his arm. So in my instance, it's turquoise. So I'm just going to make some small little dashes, some little strokes right there, right in the middle, on both sides. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to rinse that off. I'm going to dip into my shade color. So my shade color for this instance is navy blue. And you can do, I would do the shade color of your color that you just put down and go along the bottom of that arm sleeve and pull it up. Now, we are just getting a base down at the moment, so this is not how it's going to end up looking, and it does not need to be perfect right now, or your perception of perfect right now, okay? So I don't want anyone to get too scared or nervous about it. There. What we're going to do next is we're going to mix your two darkest colors. So in my case, it's navy blue and it's purple. And then you're going to mix them together. If you're doing it on a paper plate, perfect, or a palette, perfect. If you purchased a kit from me, you can do it on the lid of a souffle cup. Okay, after you got those two colors mixed together, you're going to get a really dark color. It's just going to be a little bit different than the two colors. And for what we're going to do is we're going to do his bottom part that we're not actually going to see. We're going to do that. Where you get to the beard, just kind of do the opposite brush strokes right there for it. Because we're going to go back later over the beard and you can reapply it right there, okay? So don't fret too much about that. Both sides do that. And then don't forget his little butt under his beard and between his two little feet. Okay. And while you have this really dark color, go right under the feet and swipe it horizontally back and forth to look like a shadow with him sitting on it, okay? And you can wash your brush off. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that same mixture. You didn't have to wash your brush off if you didn't want to. We're going to take that same mixture, but we're going to also add your other colors to it. So grab all of your colors, mix them all together, besides the white. So grab all of them, and then we're going to paint the shoes that color. There we go. And we're also going to paint the hands that color. And we should have done this before I had you add the other colors. But grab some more of your two darkest colors, mix them together, because we have to do this spot right here. Uh-oh, I made a mistake. Right here under the arm sleeves. And we're actually going to be using that mixture again, so it's okay if you mix up more than you need just for this little spot. There we go. Take that color and run it alongside the bottom of your arms and brush it up. I don't hate it. See? I'm not mad at it. Perfect. Okay. You can wash that off. For the nose, what we're going to do is we're going to take our white, and then we're going to take one of our colors, choose which one you like, or both of them is fine, or all of them again, and make it a very, 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 very light mixture. So use more white than the other colors, okay? If you have a red, you could just use red and white and make a very soft pink for the sake of this and minimizing colors. Mine is going to be more of a very light purple. Okay, and then we're going to just give him a nose. And then you can put a little bit more of your other color besides white in there. Add some color variation and put it at the bottom of his nose. Okay. So it's just going to be a very light nose. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. Perfect. Yeah, he looks much better now that I fixed his proportions. Okay, so now that we have the base done on all of the gnome, we are going to get into more details. So I'll give you guys just a quick second and I'll be back. You can pause here if you do not have the base done yet. Okay, we are going to get started with the finer details of the painting. So we're going to use our small size 6 round brush for these steps. What we're first going to do is we're going to pretty much go back over everything. But we're going to add more detail, and we're going to start the hat and finish the hat at the same time. Not completely finished because we got to go back through and add some highlights and lowlights, but that is what we're doing right now. So we're going to take that dark mixture that we mixed up, the one that we did all 4 of our colors, all 4 of our main colors, and we're going to come over here where the tip of the hat is, and where that crease line goes, we're going to do a line there. We're going to go all the way on the bottom of that. If your paint is a little dry and it's not fully going onto your painting, you can dip your brush into some water to make it flow a little bit better. And then we're going to flick up and try to create that big shadow right there, okay? Water. Okay, so we've got that shadow going on right there. I lost some of my purple in that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dip back into purple, and I'm just going to go right over top of it, and I'm going to try to blend both of those together. I had a little bit excess paint on my brush, so I wiped all of that off. I have a clean brush now, and I'm just going to blend those two together. That. I'm going to rinse off my brush now. Try to add some more of this dark stuff. There we go. And then I'm going to rinse it off, start with a new brush, go into my lightest color that I have, and I'm just going to add some brush strokes to the top there. Okay? And I like the way that looks, so now I'm going to leave that portion of it. I'm going to do the same over here on this side. I'm going to start from the outside of the hat and whisk it in, kind of brush it in. Make sure to lift it up as you're going out, all along this side of this hat. Sometimes it helps to draw a line and then pick up some of that paint that stays off on that line. There. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same to this other side. And remember, the hat curvature is going this way, so it's kind of like an archway up. So that's the kind of way that you want to keep your brush strokes. You don't want to do them straight horizontal because then it won't look right. Okay. So now that we have that done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and wash my brush off and then go into my opposite color and go straight up and do it right in the middle. Notice I'm not going all the way over this time, just a little bit, because we already have that base in there, so we already have some of the color in there. So this is just adding a little bit more dimension and a little bit more color variances. I do, however, want to rinse my brush off, and I do want to go back over to the turquoise. So I'm going to dip some of the turquoise and some of the shade color together to get a darker mid-tone of those two colors. I don't want it completely dark, but I don't want it to be completely light either. So I'm going to get a mid-tone. And over here on this side, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to make some areas have this shade color. And not all of them either. So just kind of, it's kind of random. It's kind of where like your heart takes you or the brush takes you. And then, or wherever you're feeling needs a little extra love. And you can even put some right in the middle if you want. And so because my purple is so dark already, I'm going to take some of the purple and I'm going to take some of the white this time. And I'm going to mix those two together. And I'm going to do the same thing on the hat, kind of where I feel it needs a little extra love. So just in a few spots. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. This is really based on preference and feeling. So there is a lot of feelings that go into painting. So once you're happy with that, we're going to let that dry and we're going to move on. And I kind of like that color because it's kind of like a pinky color. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more white to that. And I think I'm going to do that to my nose instead of what it is. So that's what I'm going to do. Perfect. I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to add some of that navy blue base just to make a shade darker. And I'm going to run that along the bottom. I like it. So there's my hat. There's my nose. We're going to go right into the beard. The butt part is already done. We don't really have to worry anything about that. So we have the beard, the heart, the hands, the arms, and the feet left to go. And this is just our second base. Well, this is our finishing base. The next step after this, we're going to add highlights and some shadow, and then we're going to be done. So it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, so next I'm gonna start with the mustache. So mustache, I'm just adding some small strokes. And remember, we already have a base down, so you don't have to completely coat the beard all over again. And I actually recommend you not doing that, just because it's gonna leave some of these other colors that are gonna look really cool popping through. So I just go through and add some random strokes, not completely filling. Perfect. This side. Okay. And remember, if some of your beard whiskers got lost when we were painting the bottom, then feel free to add them in. Okay. While it is still wet, I want to go in and add in some extra colors to make it a little bit more fun, okay? So I'm going to start with my lightest color, and I'm just going to dip into it. I'm going to wipe it off so you have the minimal amount on it, and I'm just going to add some extra whiskers. I want to call them whiskers this whole time. I'm going to add some extra whiskers to his beard all the way around. Perfect. And I'm going to dip into my purple. Do the same thing. Wipe it off so you have a minimal amount. And I'm just going to do the same thing. Okay. And then I'm going to get like a small off-white shade. And I'm going to fill in his little, under his mustache part with a off shade white. So basically just mix one of your colors with the white and do that there. And I don't like how dark that section is right there, so I am going to add more white. Okay, let's see if that dries a little better. And this right here too. These little spots. Okay. There. Okay. Perfect. So the beard is done for now. Next step, we are going to, I want to leave the heart for last, I think, on this one. Okay. We're going to do the arms now. So for the arms, what we're going to do is we're going to take this one again. If you want some of the lighter, mix your, the top color that you did, mix that with white, and you can add some lighter shades down. Highly recommend, if it's drying up, to add some water to your brush. It'll make it flow a lot easier. Or mix up some more color, that might help too. Okay, so, and you can bypass all the colors if you want to. So what I mean by that is you don't have to stay right in the same vicinity that you put the previous color in. So see, I'm going past my turquoise a little bit too, That is completely okay. And I'm going to dip right into my purple now because I made a light purple. I'm going to dip into my purple now, and I'm just going to kind of do the same thing, just like a half an inch down lower, and I'm going to do it much lighter and softer so I get some thinner lines. There. There. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to wash my brush off. I'm going to dip into the turquoise, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing in the turquoise area of this painting. Again, you don't have to do a bunch of it, just a couple. Just be like, hey, I was here, remember? There. Happy with that. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get into my navy blue, and I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I'm going to go all the way towards the bottom, all the way, and I'm actually going to take my navy blue and I'm going to go all the way at the side too. And if you don't have navy blue, you can use your darkest color that you do have. So outline that bottom and then just go along it. Perfect. And then you can take your navy blue if you want and draw the line around the cuff. The cuff line. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So that is done. So now for the little paws. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix, let me see. Yeah, I'm going to mix my two lightest colors. So for me, that's going to be my turquoise and my purple. And I'm going to mix those up. And then I'm going to use those to paint over top of what I already have. There we go. 1 and 2. Perfect. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into my shade color, so for me, navy blue, and I'm going to mix that in there with that. And towards the bottom, I'm going to add just a couple strokes towards the bottom and kind of blend it up on both sides. So go all the way down the bottom and blend it up. Perfect. And then what I can do is I can make another light mixture. So dip back into both of your lightest colors and add a dab of white to make a light mixture, and just add just one stroke each to the top. If it's not light enough for your likings, go ahead and add more white and do it again. Perfect. All right. So now that we have our arms and our hands done, the next step is to move on to our feet. And we're going to do kind of this similar thing. So dip back into that dark mixture that you had just made and go at the bottom of your foot with that. Okay. And then the top of your foot can be that light mixture. Perfect. And then if you want to add like the similar colors throughout the other entire painting, go ahead. Like I'm going to dip into my turquoise and I'm just going to add a splash of color onto each of these. It doesn't have to be the same on all of them. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so the last part that we have to do for this second base is to do the heart. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. And so just, again, grab your base color that you started the heart with, and you can just repaint all of that. Perfect. So get your base down, dip into your shade color, and then start at the bottom of your heart with your shade color, and you're going to want to work your way up with it, trying to create a gradient with that. So if you end up with too much of the dark and you didn't like too much of that dark, you can dip back into your main color and try to tone that down a bit. But I do like the bottom being darker than the top. And then if you don't like how dark the top is, you can just take your main color, mix it with some white, and color that in. Start from the top and do the gradient technique and work it down. That's totally possible, I should say. Perfect. So if you are happy with that, my heart's not very even, but that's in real life too, so we're good. Just kidding. Okay, so we are all done with our second coat of paint, and then we will move on to our highlights and lowlights. Okay, so the last step of this painting is to add highlights and lowlights, and for the majority of it, we're going to be using the smallest brush that you have, but for this first step, we're going to start with the small round brush. Size 6 is what I had, and yeah, we're going to get started on that. So to get some highlights for this heart, we're going to dip into the white. We're going to do a lot of white and just a hair of purple, okay? So, and then we're going to add like a big chunky highlight on this, on the heart. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to come over here and do that. Perfect. So there's a nice big chunky highlight. There. So there is that for that. And then we're also going to, we're going to put that brush away. We're going to start with we're going to go with back to our teeny tiny brush. Dip it in water so it's a nice flow to it. And we're going to add some outlines, some highlights. We're going to start with our darkest color. So for me, that is navy blue. And the first step is to add the line for the hat. So I'm going to start at the middle of the nose. That wasn't quite the middle, but I'm going to just go down. And you see how, I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen, but like my paint started to thin out towards the bottom, so the canvas started peeking through a little bit. If you want to prevent that, you have to get some water on your brush, but do not get enough water that it will start dripping, because then you're going to have a drippy painting, unless that's what you're going for, which that could look cool. And when we are So that is just like a full solid outline. Not the entire painting is not going to be a full solid outline. Okay, so when we're getting up to the hat, we want to see some creases and some folds into this hat. So we're gonna come in here and we're just going to add some fake make-believe ones. So pick a few spots that you can see some creases. Ideally, they're going to be where the little lumps are on your hat. And of course, this one. And then at the base of this one, you can do the entire little section right there, and then add some more lines there. And then in here there might be some creases, so just add a couple, you know, little crease lines, some lowlights. So again, a lot of this painting is just feeling and seeing, oh, do I feel like that should go there? Yeah, okay, well let me do it. Okay, so I'm happy with that for the hat. We're going to move on to, we want just the slightest outline under the nose so we know that it's a nose. And so we're just going to start and do just a very small one, okay? Right under the nose. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like this one isn't a very strong line. It's very broken. I can try and make this more smooth. But I'm okay with how that one is. We're going to move on to the arms. On the arms, we're going to draw a line up here. And then we're just kind of like crease it off. Hadley, you're okay. Sorry, my dog is barking. We're just gonna make some crow's feet creases in the side over here. Just because that's what your arm kind of does anyways. See those little creases? Yeah. We're gonna do that on both sides. Perfect. And then we can also outline the bottom again. You might not end up seeing this because it's already so dark, but that's okay. At least we know we did it. And then the bottom of the paw, the hand, you can start kind of in the middle of the hand very lightly, so that way it gradually gets thicker. So if you start very lightly and then get thicker towards the bottom, you can do that for that side. You can do it for the heart. So I'm going to start up there, go down here, and then here again. Alright, I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. And then for the feet, go ahead and just outline the entire foot. And then do an extra thick line at the base of the foot. And then you can even come up here and do some extras over here on his paw print, on his booty if you want. Okay, and then we're going to do the beard. So I'm going to get a minimal amount of paint on there, and I'm going to put some water in there. I'm going to kind of wipe it off a little bit just to get just a slight amount on his beard and his mustache. That way it's not completely crazy, but I want to do some of these brush strokes on it as well. So we are all complete with the darkest color. Now we are going to continue with the lightest color. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to do the same thing with a hat as we did before, but this time we're going to do a small line right here above his nose, above the dark spot, the dark line that we just added. Okay? There. So it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be even, just has to be there. And then on some of these other lines, we're going to go right above that spot that we just added, and we're going to do the same thing that we just did. Okay. Perfect. At the very tip of his hat, on the border of his hat, we can do a line there. And please note, just let your brush flow. You don't have to force the line. If your brush accidentally skips or you go too fast and it's thinner or thicker, it looks cool that way. So I like to leave that there. And then over here where this crease is, I'm going to do a line there. And then just a little snippet at the end. Perfect. And then I'm just going to do a couple other random ones here. Okay. All right. I'm happy with it. There we go. Okay, and then on the nose, we're going to do one that goes for the main part of the nose, and then two little guys on the sides of the nose. I like that. For these parts here, we're going to do it as if, you know, there was crinkles, wrinkles in his arm sleeves. So just do a few of these guys. There. Okay. And then also on his arm sleeves, right behind where you did the black line, you can do a white one. Perfect. And on his paws, you can go above here. Whoa. And above here. Cute. And if you really want, you can do just the smallest little line in both of those. And then above on his feet as well. Cute. And then do some on his beard again. There. And then the last spot is the heart. So just go right back over top of that really big one that you did. And voila! It's done! So we have just completed this Valentine's gnome painting. If you had a good time, if you love your painting, if you like how it turned out and everything, please let me know. I also would be highly interested in getting you more paint tutorials. So if you want to paint something else, please let me know that too. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, anything, just leave them in the comments below and I will read them. So don't be mean. Don't be mean in it because I'm gonna read it. And I'm just a baby. But anyways, the only thing I would suggest, I'm going to pick up some different white paint because this paint is very transparent, as you can see, and I didn't like how it doesn't stay white like the other brand that I had been using. So I'm going to hopefully find that other brand and see if that is still up and going. And in the future, maybe we won't have such transparent white. In your kit though, because this is being filmed before your kit, if you purchase the kit with me, your kit is going to have a better white than this. So you should be in the clear. I just wasn't. I really enjoy doing this for you guys, and again, if you guys have anything to say, please let me know. And yeah. Thank you for participating. Have a great day. Bye.